How's my audio? Good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, great. Good morning, everybody. The board meeting of the Gateway Development Commission is now called to order. Today, we are holding a public meeting of the Gateway Development Commission's Board of Commissioners. Today's meeting is being held in person, but as part of the transition from virtual meetings as a result of the COVID-19 public health crisis, public comments will continue to be solicited virtually. Audio is also being live streamed from the Gateway Program website. The Commission will solicit comments from members of the public who have signed up for in-person comment as well. The Commission is also soliciting comments from the public that may be participating today virtually. A form for soliciting these comments is posted on the Gateway Program website for those who wish to submit a comment for today's meeting. Acting Secretary Caulfield, may I ask you to conduct the roll call and report on the public notice for today's meeting?
Thank you. Co-Chair Glenn?
Here.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk?
Here.
Vice Chair Kosha?
Here.
Commissioner Barbas?
Here.
Commissioner Bauer?
Here.
Commissioner Rosen?
Here.
We have a quorum. I note for the record that Commissioner Dominguez is absent today. Adequate notice of today's regular public meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Gateway Development Commission has been provided in accordance with the Commission enabling legislation. The agenda and public documents pertaining to the board meeting have been made publicly available on the Gateway Program website. Notice of the meeting was posted to the website 5 business days before the meeting, and public notice of the time and place of the meeting was provided to appropriate media outlets. A video recording of this meeting will be posted to the Gateway Program website.
Thank you. The next item on today's agenda is a report on the minutes of the December 11th, 2023 meeting of the board. I will now turn to Mr. Caulfield for a report on the minutes of that meeting.
Copies of the minutes of the meeting of December 11th, 2023 were delivered in electronic form by myself to the governors of New York and New Jersey on December 14th, 2023. The time for action by the governors of New York and New Jersey expired at midnight on December 29th, 2023, at which time actions recorded in the minutes went into full force and effect.
Thank you. We will now turn to the GDC staff for an update on the Gateway program.
Good morning, Commissioners. Welcome to the first meeting of 2024. I wanted to give you, Molly, is this working? There you go. Good.
Yes, it's working.
Thank you. I wanted to give you an update today about some of the recent developments for the GDC. First is, as required by the GDC statute, we provided an update to both New York and New Jersey State and Assembly leadership. Secondly, last year, if you remember, Commissioners, we promised that we would either be under construction or procure 5 out of the 9 packages that make up the Hudson Tunnel project. We did just that with not only the construction of the concrete casing project and Tunnelly Avenue, but we also issued RFPs for both Palisades and the Manhattan Tunnel by the end of the year as promised. This year, we started off our 9th public outreach on projects in January. We did an outreach event with both DBEs and some of the contractors who are working on our projects, where we had 130 members of the DBE community and contracting community join us. It was, as I said, the 9th event of the GDC just in the last 12 months. So, what does 2024 look like? We are on pace to hopefully get our full funding grant agreement by the spring, which is what we have promised. But an important step that we took in January, on January 31st, is to submit our final financial plan to the FDA, which we submitted on January 31st. Organizationally, in the not-too-distant future, you're going to be considering the delivery partner procurement, and to hopefully, with your consent, bring the delivery partner on board. We're continuing to build our staff capacity, which we've been undertaking now for almost 20 months. Construction. We are going to be talking to you today about starting the very first heavy construction in water with the Hudson River ground stabilization. And as I mentioned to you before, we will be awarding both the Palisades Tunnel and the Manhattan Tunnel contracts by the end of the year. That is our agenda for 2024. So as you see here, we did a groundbreaking, if you will, on concrete casing in the fall of 2023, and as you see, work is already underway to build the concrete casing, and the same with Tonnelle Avenue, which is the entry to the portal for the Hudson Tunnel project. So today, I am so pleased to report to you that with your consent, and if you approve, we will be issuing the very first heavy construction in the water. This is the Hudson River ground stabilization. It involves building a 1,200-foot cofferdam that will strengthen the riverbed in the Manhattan side of the Hudson River. Major work for all the segments, both in New Jersey, New York, and in the river, will be therefore underway in 2024. And when we issue the Palisades and the Manhattan tunnels by sometime 2024, you will see the Hudson Tunnel project come into very sharp focus. Our commitment to the board and our commitment to our stakeholders is to make sure this project enters a point of no return, and that is where we are even today. So what is the resolution that you're going to consider today? The Hudson River ground stabilization is, as I said, a 1,200-foot cofferdam that is going to be in the river. We got two shortlisted proposers who submitted proposals for the project. The best value selection for the project that you're going to consider today is Weeks Marine. The award of the full contract is $284 million. We are going to provide you not just that, but a market case estimate as it's required under the PDA for the entirety of the project. But today, the resolution that we're asking you for is to award phase one of the contract in an amount not to exceed $100 million. And I know Anthony is going to talk more about that in a second. I'm going to turn it over to Jim Morrison, our CTO, so he can talk about the technical nature of this project. Jim.
Well, thanks, Chris, and good morning, Commissioners. So as Chris mentioned, the purpose of this project is an early works project that will facilitate the construction of the tunnels once those start. The end product is a block of reinforced earth in the riverbed, 1,200 feet long by 110 feet wide. In order to get that block in place and to protect the river environment requires a cofferdam. So these are the pieces of the construction that are critical. The work will be authorized in two phases. As Chris mentioned, the first phase is the engineering required. This is a design-build contract, so the engineering and design portions, surveying and bathymetric survey, an identification of obstructions, and the completion of a demonstration test program to verify the methods that are used are achieving the desired results. That's included in phase one. After we've demonstrated the appropriateness of the system, phase two will be authorized for the remaining design and construction of the work. So, key components that will happen in this contract, as I mentioned, the bathymetric and geophysical surveys to identify the bottom profile and observe or identify obstructions, removal of any obstructions, the design and construction of the temporary containment cofferdam to do this work that will be done in phases as defined in our permit, the implementation of the ground stabilization itself. Once it's the demonstration proves that the methods proposed are achieving the results, And also integral with this work is the maintenance and protection of marine traffic in the river, and including both the commercial river traffic in the channel and the pleasure craft that work in this area. So with that.
Hey, thanks, Jim. So in addition to the Hudson River Ground Stabilization procurement that we have for action today, other active procurements that we have include our Palisades Tunnel, which we have shortlisted 5 firms back in October. The final RFP was issued in February, last week, February 6th, and proposals are due during the second quarter of '24, with an award later this year, as Chris mentioned. Our Manhattan Tunnel, it's a design build. We have shortlisted 3 firms. The draft RFP has been issued to the shortlisted firms, and the actual final RFP will go out shortly with proposals due during third quarter of this year, and award again also this year. And finally, our delivery partner procurement, we have received proposals and shortlisted back in December, and now we're in the selection and final negotiation stage, which also will be awarded first quarter this year, hopefully. And those are the update on the procurements. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm pleased to report on the GDC HTP financial plan that was submitted to the FTA on January 31st of this year. This marks looking back over the past year, the 3rd financial plan that we have submitted to the FTA, and it is the final financial plan as we look forward to a closing of the grant and the RIF loans in June. What's notable about this financial plan is the significant reduction in costs to the states. As you can see here, most notably, we kept the project costs consistent with our October financial plan. You said you see $16.05 billion. This January iteration brought that number down to $16.04. And the significant moving parts were the finalization of the federal-state partnership grant, moving that from $3.6 billion to $3.8 billion. Inclusion of the final risk refresh analysis that added $15 million to the cost of the project, and then adjusting the interest rate assumption on the RIF loans from 5.5% to 5.25%. Those were the sort of the big moving parts in the financial plan. But as you can see here, looking back to where we were, New York was at $3.2 billion, New Jersey was at $2.4 billion, and leading into the January plan, those numbers came down significantly as a result of those moving parts that I noted. New York is now assumed at a $1.335 billion RIF loan, and New Jersey at $308 million. The real important takeaway I want to just emphasize here is the magnitude of the reduction for the states. New York saw a 58% reduction, and New Jersey saw an 87% reduction. So we're very pleased that this plan is now with USDOT, and we're continuing to work with them to achieve our goal of a financial close in June. So thank you.
Commissioners, I just want to make 2 points. One is the reason that New Jersey's number is significantly lower than New York is because New Jersey and New York had a memorandum of understanding on Portal, where New Jersey paid for the project, and therefore New Jersey gets credit on this one. That's what explains that differential. The second thing that I want to point out is, I'm sure, Commissioners, it's not lost on you, but I want to emphasize for the public that this would be the single largest investment the federal government has ever made in any mass transit project in modern history. So net, I think will be close to 73% of this project is going to be funded by the federal government, and the remaining by the states of New Jersey, New York, and of course Port Authority. The second thing I want to mention that Anthony Gardner talked about procurement. I think it is so important for this organization to appreciate the fact that the procurements, except for the delivery partner procurement that we put out with Amtrak's help, the rest of them that you heard about, which is HRGS, HRGS, Palisades, and Manhattan, are the first organic procurements that the GDC has done with help, of course, from our partners, including help from Port Authority, from Amtrak, from New York and New Jersey. But this is a moment that I think we should cherish, and the fact that we have extraordinarily competent joint ventures who are approaching us to be pre-qualified to do this work senses to me at least, shows a sense that this project is now reached a point of inevitability. And number two is it shows a sense of confidence in GDC as an organization. So we should be proud of it as an organization that in less than 20 some odd months, we've gone from a staff of 4 to 5 people to an organization now that can stand on its own 2 feet, is eligible to receive federal funds, and is months away from getting a full funding grant agreement, and is able to put out procurements on the street, which attract some of the best talent this world has to offer. So with that, I believe, Co-Chair Glenn, I know we're going to be coming back to you and asking you for consideration of some of these resolutions, but Ed, I believe it's back to you.
Thank you. And I just want to, again, and maybe this is the best time to clarify and or ask this question. With respect to the Hudson River ground stabilization work that we are being asked to approve the first phase of today, what is the expectation on the timing for the board to consider phase 2 of that work, so that we are all aware, as is the public, of the total cost of that project? What is the timing of that?
Yeah, thank you, Co-Chair. The total cost of the project is $284. Today, you're voting, as I said, only on phase 1. Phase 2 will not commence until we have full funding grant agreement, which is, as I said, sometime in spring. But phase 2 is not going to commence till October. And if the board chooses at that point, you will vote on phase 2.
Okay, so we would expect to see that issue come to the board sometime either in the summer of 2024 or the fall of 2024, depending on the state of phase 1 and the negotiations with the proposed contractor.
Exactly.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board before we move on? Okay. I believe that we are now we have noted for the record that the Commission has solicited in-person and virtual comments from the public in advance of and during today's meeting. A form for soliciting these comments was posted to the GDC website in advance of the meeting, and members of the public attending in person also had the opportunity to register today when arriving. The comment form for virtual participation was available throughout today's meeting. I believe we received 5 virtual public comments. Is that correct? From individuals whose name I unfortunately do not have, but Mr. Caulfield, if you can help me out and list all of the folks who have submitted virtual public comments, that would be helpful.
Yes, thank you, Co-Chair Glenn. The Commission received 2 virtual public comments by 5 p.m. On Thursday, February 15th, from the following individuals: Samira Ayati of IV Engineering and Isabel Molina from the New Jersey League of Conservation Voters.
Thank you so much. And if any additional virtual comments are received during today's meeting, they will be distributed to the board and posted on the Gateway Program website after today's meeting. All public comments received will also be filed in the Commission's records. Mr. Caulfield will now conduct the public comment period for those speakers who have registered in person today. Thank you.
Thank you, Co-Chair. Today we have 3 registered speakers. Speakers, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, we request you limit your comments to 3 minutes. In accordance with the GDC open meetings policy, the public comment period may be limited to 30 minutes. I will flag for you if their 3 minutes expires. The first speaker is Joe Fiordaliso of ACEC, New Jersey.
Good morning. I do not anticipate using my entire 3 minutes. I'll be brief. Just good morning to the board. Thank you for the opportunity to address you. I am Joe Fiordaliso. I'm speaking to you this morning in my capacity as president of the American Council of Engineering Companies in New Jersey, which is the business trade association for the consulting engineering profession. And I really just wanted to take a moment this morning to get up. I think Chris stole some of the comments I was going to make. The agenda this morning is significant. The totality of it, the fact that we've got the first heavy construction contract that you'll consider this morning, it's absolutely significant, and nearing that point of no return is something that I know everyone's been working towards for the past year plus. The amount of work and the amount of progress that's been made in a short period of time is nothing short of remarkable. And the board deserves an enormous amount of credit for that. The staff deserves an enormous amount of credit for that. Congratulations to you all. We've all been waiting for a long, long time for this, and it's really a significant day. So congratulations to everyone for getting us to this point. The consulting engineering profession stands ready to help you fulfill your mission and get us to the, all the way through the program. And we are here to help in any way that we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next speaker is Sophie Capello of RPA Build Gateway Now.
Good morning. I'm Sophie Capello, representing Regional Plan Association and the Build Gateway Now Coalition. Our coalition is comprised of over 45 civic, labor, business, and elected groups united to support the nation's most urgent infrastructure project. Thank you to the GDC for inviting public comment today. The coalition is very pleased to see the Hudson Tunnel project off to a strong start in 2024. We're excited to hear that the commissioners are voting on authorizing the award of the first contract for the Hudson River Ground Stabilization Project. Having celebrated the groundbreaking on early work projects at Hudson Yards and Tonelli Avenue in 2023, this contract award indicates that the construction of the main components of the tunnel are moving forward and will show substantial progress in 2024. We also congratulate the GDC for submitting the updated financial plan, which we just heard about, the last major hurdle to be cleared before receiving a full funding grant agreement, which we all eagerly anticipate. In an unprecedented achievement for a transit project, the plan shows that a huge share of the funding commitment has been lifted from New York and New Jersey, with the federal government now projected to cover 73% of the project's total costs, up from an initial estimate of just under 50%. This will allow New York and New Jersey to invest these funds in other critical transportation needs and is a testament to GDC's hard work and enormous success over the past few years. And while this funding share is largely unprecedented, it shouldn't be. Projects to expand or improve interstate highways typically receive enormous shares of federal funding, often at 90% or more. The same should be true for public transportation. States should not have to bear a great burden to improve transit systems that are better for people, better for the economy, and better for the environment. This is important to advocate for as we look to funding Gateway Phase 2 projects, which should receive the same funding model that the Hudson Tunnel project has achieved. As the Hudson Tunnel project moves full steam ahead, thanks to the impressive work by the GDC, agency partners, and state and federal government partners, we will keep the pressure on to make sure all 11 projects of the Gateway program are funded and completed. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify today, and congratulations to the GDC and all partners on the successful progress to get the Hudson Tunnel project built. Thank you.
Thank you. The final public speaker is Chad Perkey of ABNY.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Chad Perkey, the Interim Executive Director with the Association for a Better New York. As a proud member of the Build Gateway Now Coalition, ABNY commends the Gateway Development Commission on recently reaching a pivotal milestone and submitting the updated financial plan to the Biden administration. Further, this amended financial plan marks a critical development in ensuring that proper funding partnerships are in place between the states and DC. And it makes sure that it saves the projects from further funding uncertainty while also saving both the state's billions, which is an important milestone that we keep hearing this morning, and we want to make sure to go on record to congratulate and acknowledge that milestone. In addition, we are thrilled with the pending contract award for the Hudson River Ground Stabilization Project, moving forward one of the largest projects within the Gateway program. And as we've said before on record, we just want to reiterate our support for the Gateway program and commend the Commission on meeting all of its deadlines through the federal funding application process and continuing to move critical pieces of the project forward. As the most urgent infrastructure project in America and one that will benefit millions of New Yorkers here in the city and across the region, it requires nothing short of the urgent action and the strong partnerships that we've been seeing from the Commission, and we look forward to seeing more of that and being a supportive partner. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the in-person speakers.
Thank you. I believe we'll now turn to the first item for the board's consideration.
Thank
Chris?
you, Co-Chair. The first resolution for your consideration is the annual board meeting schedule for calendar year 2024.
That's an exciting one. Thank you, Chris.
We thought we'll start easy.
Yeah, well, that's not easy getting the schedule together, that's for sure. Okay. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment? Seeing none. Is there a motion from a commissioner to consider this resolution?
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. I move this motion to a vote. Mr. Caulfield, please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The second resolution is for you to consider authorization of an award for the Hudson River Ground Stabilization Project.
Thank you, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment? Okay, seeing none. Is there a motion from a commissioner to consider this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you. Second, I think I got both there. Any discussion? No? I move this motion to a vote. Mr. Caulfield, please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Commissioners, with that vote, the GDC will now can say publicly that we are close to $1 billion in construction value, including all soft costs, that will be underway once Phase 2 is approved. So that is a milestone achievement moment for GDC. So with that, I'm going to ask respectfully the GDC Board consider the market case estimate for Hudson River Ground Stabilization.
Thank you, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment? See? Is there a motion from a commissioner to consider this resolution?
I'll move it.
Second? Somebody?
Second.
Thank you. I move this motion to a vote. Mr. Caulfield, please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The next resolution is a resolution delegating authority to the CEO in connection with employee benefits plans.
Thank you, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment? Seeing none. Is there a motion from a commissioner to consider this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? No? I move this motion to a vote. Please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The next resolution, Commissioners, is an approval of the past costs pursuant to the capital funding agreement with Amtrak and an authorization of an amended capital funding agreement with Amtrak.
Thank you, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment? Nope. Is there a motion from a commissioner to consider this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second? Jamie? Amy, thank you. I move this motion to a vote. Mr. Caulfield, please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Gray-Walverk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The last resolution, Commissioners, is an authorization for the second amendment to the PDA.
Thank you, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment? Seeing none, is there a motion from a commissioner to consider this resolution? Is
Motion.
there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I move this motion to a vote. Please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Gray-Walverk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. And thank you again for me being virtual. I know this is not as easy as it usually is. I appreciate it. Thank you. We will now be entering into executive session to discuss contract negotiations, personnel matters, and matters in which the release of information could impair a right to receive funds from the United States. After the executive session, the board will reconvene in public session for the purpose of adjourning that meeting, and no further business will be conducted. I make a motion now to enter into executive session to discuss contract negotiations, personnel matters, and matters in which the release of information could impair a right to receive funds from the United States or other grantor. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Motion is carried. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Everyone, I think we're just
Hereby reconvene the open session board meeting. Mr. Caulfield, do we have a quorum?
Yes, Commissioner, we have a quorum.
Thank you. There being no further business to conduct today, I have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I move this motion to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.